if you have your own fragrance style, it can really give you a social edge. A lot of us collectors we buy things sort of willy-nilly all over the place, and we don't really have a style. But if you start exploring that, look at what your signature scent is or what the kind of fragrances you wear them on a more consistent basis. That'll really enhance you socially, can enhance you at work. People love people who have a style and don't succumb to the whims of fashion. Those people are like mountains, and everyone else is like a sand dune. And especially in these troubled times, if you know the style of fragrance that you want to wear, if you know who you are, you're comfortable in your own skin, you wear what you want to wear, that can really make an impact. Today I have 7 different fragrance styles. I'm starting with a signature scent for each one. We're going to expand from there. Those are options, potential options for your own style. And then at the very end, I'll show you how I figured out my own fragrance style that I never even thought that I had. Style number 1 is Soapy Professional. The signature scent we're going with is Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. Now this has a lot of amber. It has an amber note. It also has vanilla and 2 resins, which also make amber. So very ambery, but it's like Prada, very, very clean. There's a little bit of musk. This one is the darker soapy version, so it's darker. It's still clean, but it's darker. It's got patchouli, and the myrrh is really ramped up, which is a dark resin. And this is a fantastic style to have if your style is more professional. If you branch off from your signature scent and you go to something like, well, the rest of the house of Prada, especially the L'Homme line. Prada L'Homme would be another example of very clean, professional. You can mix it up. The great thing about looking at a style instead of a signature scent is a signature scent is just not practical. You know, a lot of people watching this have at least small collections. You're not going to want to wear the same fragrance every day. So clean, soapy, professional is a really good style. There's a lot of ways you can branch off from there. Style number 2 is masculine. I think the best note that represents a very masculine style is a lot of leather. Not just a fragrance that has leather, but a lot of leather. The signature scent I'm starting with today is John Varvatos Dark Rebel Rider. So this has a lot of leather. It has a lot of resins too. So warm resins. It also has frankincense, which is a fresh resin. And it has a little bit of cacao. It has a smoky accord. This is more sort of in the casual vein of leather. You could spruce it up and go a little more formal. Something like Tom Ford's Ombre leather. You can go to Tuscan leather. There's La Yucawam. There are a lot of like heavy leather options. Very masculine, very cool aesthetic. What I like about heavy leather is it is masculine, but it's more than that. It can be very sophisticated as well. Style number 3 is Gourmand. The signature scent I'm going with is Stronger With You. Absolutely. This has a lot of vanilla, which is at the core of a lot of modern gourmands. But this also has rum and chestnut, a little nutty. Very, very vanillic, though. If you want to expand upon this, you can go to the rest of the Stronger With You line. And the great thing about gourmands, especially for young people, is if it really does reflect your personality, it is trending right now, and there are a lot of options. But be wary of the fact that, you know, maybe you're 25. Maybe that's just the style that everybody is wearing, right? Because I tend to think of people that wear gourmands as kind of social, a little bit more outgoing, a little extroverted. So if you are wearing a lot of sweet fragrances, but that doesn't truly reflect your personality, yeah, you might want to reconsider gourmands. But if you're 50 and you wear gourmands, hey man, that's just you. Style number 4 is Fresh, and the signature scent I'm going with is Versace Mano Fresh. I had no idea until this year that this was so popular. In terms of bottles sold, this is a top 5 fragrance on earth. So you're going to get a lot, usually with fresh fragrances, you're going to get citrus, a lot of citrus, or marine notes. This one has lemon and bergamot. So a lot of citrus, but it also has a starfruit note, which is a little bit sour, makes it a little bit different. Good performance. You can't be a top 5 seller without good performance. And so, yeah, the great thing about having fresh as your style is that you have so many options. The limitations on it, though, are the fact that, well, there's only so much you can do with citrus. You can dress citrus up, though. You know, something like just the basic Bleu Chanel. This is a woody citrus, especially the EDT. So you can dress it up, dress it down a bit. But yeah, that would be, I would think that a fresh fragrance style would be someone, you know, who's pretty agreeable. Maybe you live in a warm climate. It would really suit you. More of an outdoorsy type. You know, you sweat a lot, so you want to stay fresh, that kind of thing. Next up, we have woody professional. And when I think woody professional, I tend to think vetiver. So we're going with a signature scent of Guerlain Boisee. And this is a heavy vetiver. Sometimes I've compared this to Terre d'Hermès. This is kind of like the lime version of Terre d'Hermès, which is the burnt orange version. The more I think about it, I'm not sure that's entirely true. This is not quite as explosive off my skin as Terre d'Hermès is. But what I really like about this is the lime note. I love that lime. It's a juicy lime. There's a grass note, so it has a green facet to it as well. But I really like that. It is a different twist. Vetiver Woody Professional is a really great signature style. The danger that I see for someone looking at vetiver is, oh yeah, I'll wear that at work and then I'll wear something else at other times. If you're really looking for a style, if you're really looking for your own style and a social edge, you don't want to do that. You want it to be your style overall. I'm not saying you have to wear it all the time, but you want to wear it something that would reflect what you would wear in your personal life as well. So maybe you're a little bit of a dandy. Maybe you like to dress up a lot in your personal life. Then vetiver would be a good option as a signature style. I love the fact that it's very minimalist. It is very introverted. It's not loud. It doesn't speak loud. So it really speaks to a certain personality type. And, you know, if that sounds like you, if you are a minimalist, if you are a little introverted, if you don't like people to draw too much attention to you, maybe you're a little elegant, maybe you're an elegant person, you dress up a lot, it'd be a great style for that. Next up, we have traditional barbershop, and I'm going with Paco Rabanne pour Homme as a signature scent. And this is a very popular fragrance in the 1970s. 1974 it came out. This is a lot of herbal notes. Barbershop generally means herbal notes. Back then, you know, if you wore things that were too sweet, you were seen as feminine. So you smelled a little herbal, like a lot of lavender here. There's rosemary, there's oak moss, there's also some sage. The opening of this is brilliant. It's a really nice opening, but then it gets a little bit greener later on. Traditional barbershop is really good style. I mean, a lot of guys that are older like it because they're used to it and they're familiar with it and they're comfortable with it, and that's totally fine as far as having your own style goes. But I really think the opportunity for barbershop would be for younger people. And I mean, they are making newer barbershops. This one is Beau de Jour by Tom Ford. There's a lot of options for barbershop. Like Paco Rabanne pour Homme, more on the greener side of barbershop, whereas you want something a little bit sweeter, you go for something more like Dracar Noir, but it's a really cool, really interesting style to explore. The next style we have is exotic, and I'm going with the most exotic bottle I have. This is Oud Pashmina by Montale, and yeah, oud is a great note to be exotic, at least in the Western world. If you live in India or the Middle East, you know, yeah, it's pretty standard. But yeah, most people watching speak English, that kind of thing. So yeah, we're going for sort of more of the exotic in the context of English-speaking country. Oud is definitely worth it. This is a really nice oud fragrance. This is a dark oud. It has some rose, but it's a darker oud with some vanilla, somewhat reminiscent of Ombre Nomade. You know, if you are someone who dresses a little bit differently, a little bit more exotic, or just if you like oud, I think it would be a fantastic way to go. Just about every house has an oud fragrance. Hugo Boss actually has two. This is Oud Saffron, and then there's the original oud fragrance from their house. And yeah, so you won't have a problem finding oud these days. 10 years ago, maybe, but not today. Now, if you're sitting there going, well, yeah, I like all those options, but, that's not me. I'm kind of different. Look, that's how I was. Honest to God, my signature scent and my style, which I discovered just by looking at the top 4 accords in my top 5 fragrances. My signature scent was Reflection Man by Amouage. And because I'm not like super wealthy, I have a clone, Shiaka by Caldage, and this is a very good clone of Reflection Man. These two are kind of like very woody and also like a lot of sandalwood, a lot of iris as well. There's some white florals and a minty rosemary. But as I said before, I looked at the accords and I was really shocked. 4 of the fragrances in my top 5 had woody accords that were near the top. And I wouldn't have thought myself I was into woody fragrances. And I'm going through this so that you can look at your own fragrances and figure out that maybe you have a style you're not even aware of, right? So I noticed woody was in 4 out of 5. I also noticed powdery, which is not a common accord, was in 3 of the 5. And I also found out that it's not just powderiness from iris that I like, it's also powderiness from sandalwood. So sandalwood is bumped up as far as my style. The last accord that I found that was consistent, 3 out of 5 fragrances had a musky feel. This fragrance has 3 out of the top 4 accords that I really like in it. And, it makes complete sense to me. This is Prada Luna Rosa Black. So yeah, I figured out the style of fragrances, the accords that I like, and this will help me going forward when I'm going to purchase fragrance, when I'm looking at certain fragrances, to kind of keep up that consistency. And I'm going to work on developing my fragrance style. And maybe you can too. Hope you enjoyed this, a little bit different. Thanks.